Welcome back to the Retro Quiz Maniac channel. Today's quiz is an Everything 80s General Knowledge Trivia Challenge. It's 53 questions. Before getting started, please subscribe to the Retro Quiz Maniac channel for more exciting quizzes. Let's start with a fun one. In Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, what do they use as their time machine? A bathtub, a phone booth, a police car, or an airplane? Bill and Ted traveled through time in a phone booth. Be excellent to each other and party on, dudes. Here's a classic. Can you name this popular 80s TV show? I bet you might know this one. Of course, that's Michael Knight and his car Kit in Knight Rider. Here's a true or false question. The DeLorean in Back to the Future is powered by plutonium. True or false? That's 1.21 gigawatts and a dash of plutonium. Do you know the name of the movie in this clip?
Hey, I'd like you to meet Gail and Abel Snopes. My pair has ever broken enter.
This is one of our favorites. Can you name the movie? It's crime, chaos, and comedy all rolled into one. It's Raising Arizona. How about this? Can you identify this popular 80s band? That gravity-defying hair? Definitely a flock of seagulls. Do you know this one? What song does Tom Cruise dance to in his underwear in Risky Business? Old Time Rock and Roll, Born to Run, Great Balls of Fire, or Sweet Home Alabama? It's Bob Seger's Old Time Rock and Roll. Here's a fun one. Which actor appeared in both The Breakfast Club and 16 Candles? Anthony Michael Hall, Judd Nelson, Emilio Estevez, or John Cusack? It's the one and only Anthony Michael Hall. Time for a Saturday morning cartoon. Do you know this one? Tiny characters, big 80s vibes, the Littles. Here's one from a classic movie. In The Karate Kid, what is Daniel's last name? Is it Johnson, Miyagi, Lawrence, or LaRusso? From crane kicks to car wax, it's Daniel LaRusso. Do you know this classic toy? It was one of the first toys to talk using synthesized speech. One of the most iconic learning toys of the 80s. Speak and spell. Here comes another TV classic. Do you remember this one? What you talking about? It's Different Strokes. Here's a fun one. In Ferris Bueller's Day Off, what kind of car do Ferris and his friends borrow? A Chevy Corvette, a Porsche 911, a Ferrari, or a Ford Mustang? It's a 1961 Ferrari 250 GT California. If you grew up in the 80s, you know this band. Can you name them? Karma Chameleon vibes. It's Culture Club. Here's an easy one. Which 1984 movie popularized the phrase, "Who you gonna call?" Beetlejuice, Ghostbusters, Gremlins, or the Goonies? I bet you knew this one. It's Ghostbusters. Here's one of our favorites. Do you recognize this classic 80s movie? Here's a hint. It starred Sean Penn in one of his funniest roles. It's Fast Times at Ridgemont High. How about this? In which 1980s film does Pat Benatar's song Invincible appear? Footloose, St. Elmo's Fire, The Legend of Billie Jean, or Flashdance? A true teen rebel story of the 80s. It's The Legend of Billie Jean. Here's another true-false question. In The Lost Boys, the vampires live in Santa Monica, California. True or false? False. These 80s vampires roam the fictional town of Santa Carla, California. Do you know this movie?
This is a plaster of Paris bagel and cream cheese paperweight. I bought it from a local artist, Kiki Bridges. Did you ever hear of her?
It's a 1985 black comedy that's quirky, chaotic, and unforgettable. Can you name it? It's After Hours. Here's a deep cut. What item does Brian bring to school that lands him in detention in the Breakfast Club? A comic book, a fake ID, a joint, or a flare gun? Brian's locker surprises, textbooks, and a flare gun. How about this? This all-girl band ruled the charts in the 80s. Can you name them? Who could forget We Got the Beat? That's the Go-Go's. You might know this one. Who played Indiana Jones in Raiders of the Lost Ark? Is it Tom Selleck, Mel Gibson, Harrison Ford, or Kurt Russell? It's Han Solo. Harrison Ford. Here's a classic movie question. Blade Runner is set in the year 2019. True or false? That's true. In 1982, 2019 felt like science fiction, still waiting on flying cars. How about this? One of the strangest icons of the 80s. Do you remember him? That's Max Headroom. Here's a fun one. In WarGames, which game does David use to outplay the computer Joshua? Checkers, chess, global thermonuclear war, or tic-tac-toe? He plays a simple game of tic-tac-toe. How about this? This emotional hit stopped MTV in its tracks. Can you name the song? The song was written by Prince in 1985. That's the video for Nothing Compares to You by Sinead O'Connor. Here's a classic. What 80s film features a group of kids trying to save their homes from foreclosure? Stand By Me, The Outsiders, Explorers, or The Goonies? It's The Goonies. Here's an iconic 80s cartoon character. Do you remember the name of this mischievous cat? Think Garfield? Think again. It's Heathcliff. How about this? The 1986 movie Stand By Me is based on a Stephen King story. True or false? That's true. Stephen King wrote the story behind Stand By Me. Here's a picture clue. Can you guess this iconic 80s teen movie? That's the John Hughes classic, 16 Candles. How about this? Which movie features a boombox held over the head as a romantic gesture? Pretty in Pink, Say Anything, 16 Candles, or St. Elmo's Fire? That classic 80s scene features John Cusack in Say Anything. Do you know this movie?
It doesn't matter because we got them on the run now. Now they know that we know that they know that we know. Yes, it does matter. You did it, but they're going to suspect me. They're not going to suspect anybody.
Can you name this quirky movie? It's Tom Hanks in The Burbs, with strange neighbours and plenty of laughs. Here's another classic 80s movie favourite. Can you name it? Adventures in Babysitting. Time for another true-false. The movie The Thing is set in Antarctica. True or false? That's true. The Antarctic setting makes it even scarier. Time for a fun one. What is the name of the high school in Back to the Future? Is it Westburg High, Ridgemont High, Hill Valley High, or Shermer High? Marty McFly's iconic high school is Hill Valley High. How about this? If this sitcom looks familiar, you definitely have serious 80s television knowledge. It's too close for comfort. How about this? Which actor starred in The Blues Brothers alongside Dan Aykroyd, John Belushi, Jim Belushi, Chevy Chase, or Bill Murray? It's the late great John Belushi, 70s SNL star and 80s movie legend. Recognize this one? It was two-player competitive fun back in the 80s. It's head-to-head football. Here's a fun one. Do you know this guy? He led one of the wildest 80s bands. Can you name it? That's Dee Snider from Twisted Sister. How about this? Which actor played John Rambo in the Rambo movies? Is it Chuck Norris, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, or Bruce Willis? It's Sylvester Stallone, the ultimate 80s action hero. This one's tricky. Can you name this classic 80s cartoon? It's the Thundercats. Time for another movie clip clue. Many film fans consider this a masterpiece of its era. Can you name the movie? It's Dead Poets Society. Which 80s movie features the line, "Nobody puts baby in a corner"? Footloose, Dirty Dancing, Flashdance, or Pretty in Pink? Patrick Swayze says it in Dirty Dancing. Here's another classic 80s sitcom. Can you name it? This beloved sitcom is full of laughs and memorable characters. It's Night Court. Time for another band question. Do you recognize this popular 80s band? Signature red bandana, leather pants, and iconic hits. That's Loverboy. Do you know this one? In Ferris Bueller's Day Off, which city do Ferris and his friends visit? Chicago, New York, Detroit, or Los Angeles? They take a day off to visit the Windy City, Chicago. Here's another 80s cartoon classic. Do you know this one? Go Go Gadget. It's Inspector Gadget. Here's a Name the Actor challenge. Do you know who this is? Everyone remembers Ducky from Pretty in Pink. It's John Cryer. How about this? The events of Die Hard mostly take place in which location? Empire State Building, Nakatomi Plaza, Willis Tower, or Chrysler Building? This holiday action classic unfolds almost entirely in Nakatomi Plaza. Here's a clip from another holiday classic. This is one of our favorite holiday movies. Can you name it? Another John Hughes classic full of laughs and chaos. It's Planes, Trains and Automobiles. Here's a follow-up. In Planes, Trains and Automobiles, what holiday is Neil trying to get home for? Christmas, Thanksgiving, New Year's, or Easter? All Neil wants is to make it home in time for Thanksgiving. Speaking of John Hughes, which of these 80s movies was not directed by John Hughes? 16 Candles, Planes, Trains and Automobiles, The Goonies, or Weird Science? If you're paying close attention, you probably already know which of these can be eliminated. Every movie here is a John Hughes classic except The Goonies, which is by Richard Donner. Time for another music question. Can you name this iconic rock legend? It's the one and only Eddie Money. You made it to the final question. In Rocky III, what is the name of Mr. T's character? Is it Apollo Creed, Clubber Lang, Mason Linebacker Dixon, or James Crusher Crowe? Let us know the answer to this in the comments. You'll surely find the answer there too. We'd really appreciate if you share this quiz and be sure to like and subscribe. It really helps us out. And let us know how you did in the comments. Thanks for watching, and before you go, check out the next video on the screen. You won't want to miss it. See you next time.